Hello, my friends. Welcome back to English Unleashed. I'm Tom. This episode is an easy listening practice that you can also use for shadowing. You can listen to it anywhere on the bus, on your way to work, while you walk, or even before you go to sleep. It's full of simple ideas and simple English words that will help you relax, understand, and grow your English step by step. You don't need a notebook. You don't need to study hard. Just listen, enjoy, and let the language become part of your everyday life. Today's topic is something very special: the power of personal passions for language learning. We will talk about how the things you love, such as your hobbies, your dreams, or your small joys, can help you unlock your English fluency. Unleash your English fluency. Okay? Are you ready? Let's begin. Okay, let's start with something honest. Many learners tell me, Tom, I want to study English better, but it's so boring to study. I feel tired. I don't know what to say. I understand that. Sometimes language learning feels like a job. You repeat words, you read long texts, you memorize rules, and slowly your motivation disappears. It goes away. You start to think, maybe I'm not good at English. But that's not true. The problem is not you. The problem is the way we practice. If you only study textbooks, you don't use English for real life. You don't feel emotion. You don't feel excitement or curiosity. It becomes mechanical, just information, not communication. But language is alive. Language is emotion. Language is connection between people. So, if you want to speak English naturally, you need to connect it with something real, something that matters to you. And that something is your personal passion. Now, let's talk about what a passion really is. A passion is something you love doing. It can be small or big. It can be painting, cooking, football, travel, nature, photography, music, technology, anything that brings joy to your heart. Maybe you love gardening. Maybe you enjoy playing the piano. Maybe you love learning languages. Or maybe your passion is helping people or teaching children or caring for animals. When you speak about your passion, something beautiful happens. Your face changes, yes, and your voice becomes stronger. You forget your fear. You start to express yourself without thinking too much. The word express means to show your feelings or emotions. And that's the magic of passion. It opens the heart. And when your heart opens, your words come out more easily. You don't worry about grammar. You just speak. And that's where fluency begins. So, how can we connect our passions with English learning? You can start with a simple question. Why do you want to speak English? Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want to meet people from other countries. Maybe you want to study abroad or get a better job. Or maybe you just love the feeling of understanding and expressing yourself in another language. All these are good reasons, but the most powerful reason comes from inside, from your heart. It's when you say, I want to speak English because I have something to share. You have stories, you have experiences, you have ideas, and you want the world to hear them. That's your why. That's your reason. And when you find it, learning English becomes personal. All right, now let's imagine two learners. Learner A studies English with a grammar book. He reads about present perfect, past simple, articles, phrasal verbs. He memorizes everything. But when someone asks him, what do you like doing in your free time? He doesn't know what to say. Now, learner B studies English through her hobbies. She loves baking. She watches English videos about recipes. She reads blogs about food. She writes her own notes in English. She even talks to other bakers online. After some time, she starts to speak fluently, not perfectly, but naturally and fluently. Why? Because she connects the language to something she loves. That's the difference. So ask yourself, what are my interests? What do I love to do when I have free time? Maybe you love music, so you can watch interviews with your favorite singers in English. Maybe you love movies, so you can watch them with English subtitles. Maybe you love travel, so you can read travel blogs and write short stories about your trips. When your English practice connects with your life, it doesn't feel like study anymore. It feels like living. Now let's look at simple ways to use your passions to improve your English. First, watch or read about your interests in English. If you love cooking, find English recipe videos. If you love cars, read car reviews in English. If you love photography, follow English-speaking photographers online. You'll learn new words that are useful for you. You can also keep a small English journal about your passion. Every night, write 2 or 3 sentences. For example, today I played the piano. I learned a new song. It was difficult, but I felt happy. Simple sentences, but they are real. They come from your life. Or you can talk to yourself. Yeah, it's okay to talk to yourself. When you cook, describe what you're doing in English. I'm cutting tomatoes. I'm adding some salt. I'm stirring the soup. This helps you build fluency naturally. Now let's talk about stories. Every passion creates stories, and stories are perfect for English practice. For example, imagine your passion is painting. You can tell stories like, the first time I painted a sunset, I was 10 years old. The colors were orange and pink. I remember the smell of paint and the sound of the wind. Or maybe your passion is football. You can tell stories like, when I play football, I feel free. I forget my problems. When you tell these small stories, you practice grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation, all at the same time. And because the story is yours, you don't forget it. Stories are emotional. They connect memory and feeling. That's why storytelling is one of the best ways to build fluency. Now, many learners try to speak too fast. They worry about mistakes. They feel pressure to sound perfect. But that's not necessary. Fluency doesn't mean speaking quickly. Fluency means speaking comfortably, with confidence and calm. That's why I believe in slow conversation. When you speak slowly, you give your brain time to think. You choose better words. You enjoy the process. You sound more natural. Now, let's imagine you're talking about your hobby, playing the guitar. You don't need to rush. You can say, I like playing the guitar. I play every evening. Music helps me relax after work. Simple, clear, and true. When you slow down, you sound more confident, and confidence makes people want to listen to you. So don't try to copy fast native speakers. Try to be clear, calm, and natural. That's real fluency. Now, I want to talk about the joy of connection. When you talk about your passions in English, you do more than learn a language. You connect with people, okay? Maybe you post a photo of your artwork online and someone from another country says, "Wow, that's beautiful." Maybe you share your travel story in English and another traveler replies, "I've been there too." Maybe you join a group of learners who love the same hobby, and suddenly English becomes your bridge to friendship. This is what I love most about languages. They bring people together. They create understanding. They make the world smaller, warmer, and kinder. And when you speak from your heart, people listen. Now, sometimes our passion leads us to bigger purpose. Maybe you start learning English to talk about your favorite books, but later you find yourself helping others read those books too. Maybe you start learning English to understand music lyrics, but later you write your own songs. This is how passion grows into purpose, and purpose gives you energy to keep going, even when learning feels hard. So don't study English just to pass a test. Study English to express yourself, to share your voice with the world. Let's look at real examples of how people improve their English through passion. One learner loved movies. She watched one movie every week in English. At first, she only understood a few words, but she kept going. After 1 year, she could describe the stories easily, and her listening became excellent. Another learner loved animals. He started watching videos about animal care in English. He learned new vocabulary such as rescue, shelter, wildlife. Then he joined an online group about animal rescue. Now he writes posts in English every week. Another student loved fitness. He followed English speaking coaches on YouTube. He listened to how they talked about training, diet, and motivation. He copied their expressions. Now he can talk confidently about health and fitness, all because he learned through passion. These stories show that English fluency grows faster when the topic feels alive inside you. Sometimes you may feel tired or unmotivated. That's normal. Even people who love their passions have lazy days. When that happens, look for inspiration in simple things. Listen to an English podcast about your hobby. Read one small paragraph about it. Watch a short video. Talk to a friend who shares the same interest. Remember, you don't need to study for hours every day. You just need to keep your English heart alive. A few minutes a day is enough. Consistency is stronger than perfection. Remember, language is not only about words, it's also about emotion. When you feel something strongly, your brain remembers it. That's why connecting English with emotion helps you remember faster. If you love photography and you learn the word light, you will never forget it because you feel it, you see it, you use it. If you love gardening and learn the word bloom, you remember it forever because you see flowers bloom with your own eyes. You don't just learn new words, you live them, see them, feel them. That's how your English becomes part of you. As you grow, your English world will also grow. At first, it may be small, just one hobby, just one topic, but slowly it will expand. It will grow. Your vocabulary will increase. Your confidence will rise. You will start connecting your passion to other areas of life. For example, a person who loves cooking may later learn about culture and history through food. A person who loves music may start to learn about poetry and expression. A person who loves technology may discover how English connects people in global communities. Your English world will become richer and deeper every day. Now, never be afraid of mistakes. They are part of learning, part of growing. When you talk about your passion, mistakes don't matter much because your message is more important than your grammar. If you say something like, I very like cooking, people still understand you and they smile because they can feel your enthusiasm. Later, you will correct yourself. You will say, I really like cooking. That's how we learn, by doing, not by waiting for perfection. Remember this: fluency is not the absence of mistakes. Fluency is the presence of courage. So, my friend, remember this message. Fluency is not about speed or perfection. It's about connection. It's about speaking with feeling, with honesty, and joy. When you connect your English learning to your personal passions, you build a strong bridge. A bridge between your heart and your words. Every time you talk about what you love, your English grows stronger. So, find your passion, live it in English, read about it, write about it, think about it. Make English part of your world, not just a subject, but a companion, a friend in your journey. Thank you so much for listening to English Unleashed. I'm Tom, and I hope this episode reminded you that learning English can be simple, personal, and full of joy. Until next time, keep speaking, keep dreaming, And as always, speak with your heart. Bye for now.